consistency. I'll clear that.
I haven't decided which order.
That one.
Yeah, that's the one.
You got it.
This one?
You
Yeah.
got it.
You got the one. You know the one that I'm talking about? That's the one.
Wait.
Do the new ending, man.
And I wrote this poem today at work, and it's different than it started out. And the title sucks, so I'm just gonna. There's like
Don't
an
say
epigraph.
that. Just
It's
read
cool,
it.
yeah. The title's great.
It's just a revision written fast, and there's a little quote by Marshall McLuhan that's like, "The electric light is pure information." And it was a song for the night, but it ended differently than I thought it would. And
You got it.
yeah, hold on. I mean, these are mine, so. Night, you black parasol, the sun strikes backward to swallow what it sees. You excite these gravities because you don't say things as they are, but as they must be, to animate the consistencies between white bees and a pale apple spinning among stars in outer space. Colonies of thought exist. They prick. They are the associative difference between your hands and the snow. Put your hands in the snow, in the body of the moon, in the expansive consistency of just one feeling. To sink between the truth you know and the truth you feel. God, you have written a long way through the mind. It was now long ago. A lust for purity has resigned itself, seceding the apple of knowing from its rind. Maybe it's okay to go nowhere in a poem that's conclusive. People fail, and sometimes that's good. Tina says, what could you possibly know about happiness until you've had your hunger swallowed by the dark? And then, these are all from like very different times in my life. But, I mean, whatever. I don't even like this title, but it happens.
Good intro.
Really strong.
This is an anti-love poem.
Yeah.
Anti-love.
Sing it.
The dead want soul butter aged in the sun, wants rivers of light through time, wants a stone in the river deposit river round it, and in stillness tequila and lime. The sum of stillness interposed to the flowing sum. What the rowboat knows are its arms and its oars that rearrange the body's update. Impulse recalls the time a fledgling flapped in vain, again as gain, rearranging that is what we knew from the earth, the internet, tonight. We can be so radial. Look at you. What isn't true to its landscape, and the place is ugly tonight. Is light, declension, bone informing frame, to sing translucing the burst of birds, what slips between the trees. I feel, ultimately, my light through film forms facet, fact, reactor, lurking, the moon-loved estuary, ghosting it, and I haven't the will to assemble it, unless in each volition is visionary, inevitable as migration, a magnet. I waited, my throat became a staircase, the light climbed to speak. From the trees the last waters paint, faint and futile birds expired midway. No colors broke the surface I was wired to, until my every boat went blue, until I sunk into you, like a root the moon voiced river tree of the eye to tell me how am I collected, and by the will of what society sails against my breath, resistance, and yet the howling already of ghosts.
Yeah!
And this one's, I've been feeling very affectionate. So this one's, and I love Pilsen. I love Pilsen. Pilsen. So I wrote this song called Pilsen.
We're alright. No way. We're alright. No way. No way.
And this is called This is a Pilsen, This is a Palace. And
Charlie.
Heat stroke.
Heat stroke. Alright. As beauty becomes another way of saying don't make me do this alone, frailty becomes the rate of exchange. I'm too tiny to contain even one adequate expression of the luster of a scuffed up shoe, imbued with your exquisite personality. I might not have flowers, but there's this coffee and this couch, and it is good to be alive on a Saturday in the city in June. Beauty becomes you because you are not me. The great thing about human frailty is how that non-visible reality becomes a blue circumference the sky might fill if you just stood with me beneath it and the sun quit setting so fast. This poem's called Dialogue. It's about washing your hands with the sink.
I've done that!
Can I hear part of your lead? I just want to hear your lead.
To speak one language of drain or bay, I carve an acropolis of soap and I wash. So wearing away the city's corners until, submerged in the waters of the bay, my hands like planes to survey the history of drowning from city to harbor to shore. Says the ghost is where the faucet brings us, knowing no reply, nor moth in the throat to whisper dying look, as form of sand and root and tree is the yield of what entirely the path leading into the woods of the valley-cupped bay. Knowing each step taken in the dark is the future, is a nocturnal animal creeping forth, and such woods creeping forth, and the castle dark too, but this is the future, so I step and pictorial then is gone. So cast upon what part of here the ceiling, or a sentence of the ceiling, where stroboscope heart spins a cast of party light upon the party of submergible desire, and the undead shaping fearful shapes like one last tongue, to arrive at the estuary knowing the poem ends, at the castle where I must see her among skeletons, who making out stop to observe the disquieting ascent of blue floors to knees, and I must see her offering up her bones to the impoverished orgy, flickering in the riven light of the party. This poem's called Identity, but a couple words are spliced up, so it's not identity, it's both id and entity.
Bi-identity.
Bi-identity! I changed it. It's better now. Bi-identity, Freud defines it as something containing everything that is inherited, that is present at birth, is laid down in the constitution above all, therefore the instincts, which originate from the somatic organization, this bunch of symbols, and which find a first physical expression here, and the id in forms unknown to us. I totally disagree. Like, I think those forms are known to us, and I think that they can be found by us if it just takes a little bit of silence and work. And, you know, it takes a little bit of divisibility. And I think that this is not identity, it is your id and your entity communicating. And so the words are spliced, and does this conflagrated he art core respond to the lamb bent hold of eyes engendered, or is fate what ever circles the vulture thus? The dead lamb is blood smeared like a must ache above the dew ore of my lips, and let this dirt, why mind own its looking, which is faded to the wind, the eye lashes to lead in the wind before the vulture descends and plucks, tearing free the still warm eyelid, and with no alternative the future is not exactly closed but drawn through the eye thin king click, click, click of the heart's cam era.